questions together here. All right, you guys ready?
And I'm just going to go over a couple of things. You already know, but for you to record audio, video, whatever you need, have until 11:15. So if you could just keep an eye on time, just so I don't have to interrupt.
No
just
problem.
for your editing purposes. But I'm going to mute myself and turn my camera off just so it's you guys and I'm out of the way. But that's it, and you guys can get started whenever you're ready. Okay, sounds good. Give me 1 second.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini matey, I'm fucking with them. Hype beast, we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about it.
Just want to thank you guys, first off, just for having me, for giving me this opportunity all the time. It's always a pleasure to sit down with you guys. So much love to you guys for that. Obviously, we're here under some different circumstances with the whole pandemic and SDCC being canceled. Last year, SDCC was between the 18th and the 21st, I believe. Did you guys plan on doing everything that you would normally do as far as the breakfasts and the panels and the reveals and everything?
Yeah, we did. And, I was making sure we had two models of the HasLab Sentinel so we could haul one down to the PR breakfast, get over to the Marvel booth to do a live stream, have one in our diorama set up. So we were planning all these things, but just had to pivot, a couple of months ago. Even before the official announcement came, I think the writing was on the wall for, events, large events, scale events like this. So we had to just figure out new ways. That's why you're seeing all the teams do these Fan First Friday and other type of reveals to try to get back some of that fan engagement and still have a place for us to do all the reveals, because the products are still coming out. I mean, a few things might have been delayed here and there, but yeah, we have all this great stuff to share.
So are you guys still planning on doing some reveals next week too?
Yeah, so there will be more coming next week, I believe, including the Comic-Con items. I think a lot of the teams are looking to reveal them.
Okay, how about the sales? How have sales been affected by the pandemic? I assume everything is still showing up at retail normal, so... Yeah,
well, we can't really get into that kind of detail, but, everyone's just doing their best. All the teams all around the world, from marketing, all the way down to marketing development to the regional marketing. I know things have been challenging, but hopefully things are still getting out there through a combination of e-com, shipped to your home, and in-store traditional shopping as well.
Okay, well, with movie production pretty much halted and premieres being pushed back, how's that going to affect future rollouts for you guys, being that a lot of the lines are tied to cinematic releases?
We'll push back, for movies, we launch when, Marvel has all their licensees launched with products, so... Black Widow was the exception because it was already on the water and already kind of hitting stores by the time they moved that film. So that's why our Black Widow wave came out as originally scheduled. But then when things like Eternals and Shang-Chi, the release dates get pushed back, our product on shelves will push back accordingly for that.
In those cases, though, it's actually a positive for the fan community because it allowed us to go back and revisit some of our sculpting for Shang-Chi, as well as some of the deco that was being applied to the Eternals figures, because as as the process of making a film or making our toys, better reference comes later and later down the line. So we were able to get better, actual reference of all of the actors in the full costumes for Eternals, which we didn't have originally when we were doing deco. Mm-hmm. So we were able to update a lot of the deco colors to be more theatrical on model than what they would have been otherwise. And then with Shang-Chi, we were actually able to change and update costumes to be more on model as well, because that was still in the sculpting process. So on a couple of those characters, we were able to get more accurate representations of how they hopefully will look on the film. So for both of those, while it's always sad to have toys delayed, both for the Shang-Chi line and Eternals in particular, we should have a more accurate product for you guys, the fans.
I know this is probably not going to happen now, but was there ever any plan to do any of the Outriders from the Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, as a army builder or a pack-in or something like that?
The Outriders aren't on any, haven't been sculpted as of yet, but we're always, we've had a lot of success with the 10th anniversary and with the 80th anniversary, so there's no reason to believe that we won't have the opportunity to revisit some of those, types of movies in the future. And, you know, if that's something that the fans still want, don't give up hope. You know, there's always an opportunity to do characters like them or the Chitauri from the first Avengers film. You know, any and all of those things are still on the table.
So I had some of these questions as far as like sales and whether or not they were affected, obviously before you guys launched the backer project for the Sentinel, but clearly the community came out in full force to support the project, and obviously it was a huge success. So congratulations to you guys on that. But you mentioned that you guys were planning this 2 years out, right?
We initially started discussing what a HasLab would be for us 2 years ago, yeah.
So why the Sentinel? You guys just thought that was the most viable option or the most popular?
We definitely thought it was going to be on the top tier of popularity. There are a few other ones that we looked at. We had drawn up Galactus as well. That was another one, you know, that we, you know, thought obviously for something big and impactful. You know, I think those were probably the two biggest. Those were the ones that we developed the furthest, and I think we feel like those probably had the biggest Marvel classic pop culture overlay. You know, we discussed a lot of things. That we discussed, you know, a new Fin Fang Foom. We discussed some MCU-based opportunities as well. So there was a lot of different things that we talked about across the, you know, the whole scope of things. But we just thought between Galactus and Sentinel were the kind of the last two remaining giants that we were kind of battling back and forth. And I really don't think there was a right or a wrong way to go at that point. For this one, we just went, X has been treating us so well. You know, Ryan's brought that up many times over how well the classic X stuff has been doing for us. So we just thought that it would be a good solid offering to come up with some sort of monstrous robot for you guys to have to crush all your mutants.
What was the motivation behind some of the choices for the unlocks on each tier?
Well, I think that's one of the cool things about a Sentinel is there's a lot of different things you can do with it. You know, the master mold was just something that we very early came up with because we're like, yeah, we're making something that's this big. You can either treat it as a giant Sentinel or you can use it as a master mold for your, you know, other things. The battle damage also just kind of made sense. You know, here actually, I don't think a lot of people got a chance to see it very well. Here's the busted hand.
Oh,
you know?
wow. Yeah, that looks good.
So it's got a lot of like nicking and scratches on top of it, and all the fingers are mutilated. So, you know, battle damage is always just kind of fun. It's something we don't do a lot of in our classic lines. So that was cool. And then, like Ryan said, Tony came up with the Bastion kind of troop builder idea for the 6-inch scale figures to go along with it.
I thought that was a really good idea. I actually thought you guys were gonna kind of stay in that same vein and offer more army builders within the army builder, and I was hoping that you guys were gonna give us some version of Nimrod, even though I know you guys are gonna put him out as a retail release. But any other options that you guys looked at that you might be able to share, like as far as one of the tiers, like Morph? I saw a lot of people thinking that Morph was gonna be part of the last tier, which didn't really make sense to me, but anything else?
I mean, if in over the last 2 years, other things that we talked about was, and these are not things that we're planning now. We talked about doing like Shadowcat, the small version of Kitty, because Kitty obviously makes such perfect sense as a adversary for the Sentinels.
So in her classic,
the poopy sleeve blue, outfit, one of her early looks. So we thought cool. Shadowcat would be fun, but we walked away from that because she didn't fit into the trooper building aspect of the Sentinels.
Gotcha.
We also had a totally torched adamantium skeleton of Wolverine. So there was just some fun things that we made, just kind of kicking around ideas. And there was probably a half dozen other things that we just kind of, we can do this, we can do that. And there's so much you can do with it. But these were the three that kind of stood out for us at this point in time for what we ended up with for the final item. But yeah, those are just a couple of the things that we talked about for over the last 2 years, and I'm sure there was other ones too, right, Ryan?
Yeah, I think I remembered Morph and Shadowcat. I think we just wanted to, if people were able to buy more than one, we didn't want them to get duplicate figures. So that was kind of the light that drove us down that troop builder route, and doing Bastion with the alternate head was a great idea, kind of kickstarted by Tony, and then it just allowed for us to offer Bastion and an army of the little Sentinels too, if that's what you intended to do. So that was what was so fun about this project. Is not only is the Sentinel amazing in and of itself, but you're right, to your point, like there's a lot of additional things we could have done, so we just had to kind of pick some that kind of made sense from the costing standpoint too. And it was, it was hard to predict how this would have all turned out. We set our minimum goal at 6,000, which isn't an insignificant amount. The sale bar was at 5,000. They were a little more expensive, so we didn't take that for granted. But we've been so happy that the fans have kind of shown their support with the amount of backers that we've received thus far, and we love the discussion around it, and we hope to continue the crowdfund business model in the future.
So speaking on that, I think there was some confusion amongst the fans, the backers, about how backers relate to sales or what the actual back account meter really meant in relation to units sold. So you guys, like you said, you needed the 6,000 backers. Does that mean that one backer could have potentially bought the 5 Sentinel limit and you're still only counting that as one of the backers needed for the 6K, 7K, 8K? How does that break down?
The 6,000 is for units sold. So if someone bought a limit of 5, that would count towards 5 in the tracker.
Gotcha.
And then a fun story about the tracker was that the way the website was set up on the back end for HasLab projects, once the minimum is met to fund the project, meaning 6,000, it automatically converted to like 6,000 plus. It didn't update live.
Gotcha.
So over the we couldn't get in there and fix the site, so someone had to manually update it. So that's why there was a couple of variations of like 7,000 plus, and and people were kind of freaking out. Oh, like the tracker is broken. What does that mean? It was just it wasn't set up, and now we've got it fixed starting at this week. So now it's that live look to the exact number of units.
Put in a few extra hours this weekend on this project with how crazy fast and successful it was.
Yeah, very, very fast. I mean, you guys are well on your way to $10 million, I guess. So I guess you guys had a little Zoom party with the directors of Hasbro or something, huh? I guess y'all popped some champagne over there.
Yes, something exactly like that.
So are any more add-ons planned on? Any more tiers? Like if we hit 10 in the next couple of days, or 11 or 12, is there anything else that you guys may want to add on, or is this pretty much it? You're just going to coast out?
We're looking at it. We still have around 40 more days in the crowdfund window, so we don't want that just to be kind of dead air. But we do have to go back and run the numbers. The international portion of this is going to be unlocked soon with Europe and hopefully Asia and the other regions coming on board. So that's a little bit still to we're hopeful that we'll get a lot of international love for this too, but that's also hard at this point due to shipping challenges and using other retail partners. So yeah, we'll see. We're working at it. We would like to keep this momentum going, but we're not able to kind of confirm that there will be tiers or even speak to really would be included at this point.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of international folks interested for sure. A lot of people are asking, just to put it out there, as far as like an extra tentacle, some more swappable heads maybe for the Bastion figure or the female Sentinel Prime figure, more battle damage parts. This is just some of the things that have come up. Not really a question, just putting it out there to you guys. I really do like the idea though with the Sentinel Prime, the male and female ideas, and I like where things are going in terms of the bucks that you guys are putting out for the male characters, but things seem to be kind of regressing a little bit with the females in terms of like how voluptuous they may look. Is there any plans to kind of maybe bring back the Moonstone mold or something similar to that? Because I just feel like some of the females don't look as appealing next to some of their male counterparts in certain instances. So is there any plans to do something updated and more busty with some of the female figures?
Well, you will be seeing the Moonstone body again on a figure this coming year. We've got some other characters. I don't know what Ryan has revealed or hasn't revealed. He's the master of what's come out, so I don't want to say a name and speak on it, but I can tell you that the Moonstone body does have at least one more home this coming year. So you will see that one again, maybe in two places. So there will be some more of those, and we just try to be respectful with the bodies and how we represent all the characters. So the brand definitely has evolved over the years, and it'll probably continue to evolve. You know, all of those bodies are still in our library, and if we can find the right character that they represent, you know, the best, you know, we still use them.
Speaking of which, the pinless technology, that seems like it's going to be something pretty popular. Is that an area that you guys probably want to move into, maybe 5-10 years down the road, where that'll be the norm, the standard?
I would like to, yeah, but there are definite drawbacks to that body as well. You know, this is still new for us. We're finding things as we go into it, that there's pros and cons to everything. I don't think anything we've ever found is just, this is perfect and it works across every item going forward. So it's, you know, you'll see a mix of both body types, but where we can implement that, we are looking to do that across both the MCU bodies as well as some classic bodies. We were talking yesterday to Russ, and we mentioned that there is a double pinned female elbow with no pins coming, so on a classic body.
Okay.
So that's been sculpted, and that's in the works as well. So, you know, I've stayed away from that for a long time, because all those pins I've always said look so bad on a thin arm. That's not an excuse anymore, so I can't use that as an excuse. So we've got that one update coming as well as others just across the line.
What about the serial numbers? I think I asked about this before, but serial numbers printed on the back of the thighs, is there any way you guys can start printing that maybe on the bottom of the foot or something like that? You know, it serves a little challenge when people are taking photographs, and that's something that's been asked about.
We'll bring it up with our engineering team. I know different teams have put them in different places, and I think they're on the bottom of the feet on some other places. So let me check with our engineers and see if there's a reason why they're not there now, and if there is room, you know, without all the other legal that is stamped onto the bottom of our feet. I don't think you can overlap them, and I think there is some legalese sculpted into the bottom of our feet. Probably why that the numbers aren't there.
Gotcha.
But let me check.
You touched on this a little bit, but would you guys be open to future bigger figure backer projects, like, you know, going ahead and doing Galactus or Giganto or anything like that? Any other bigger figures maybe planned that you guys could do like once a year like this?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll let Dwight answer that question in particular, but just to jump in, like, I think the future of HasLab as a crowdfund platform isn't necessarily always bigger. The teams in the building are looking at potentially smaller HasLabs, right?
Okay.
So it might be more expensive characters that still would be too expensive for traditional retail, and then kind of more fan favorites that require a lot of tooling investment because they'd be all new. But if we can show and prove out that fan demand up front and then bring the project to life. So, like, we're kind of looking at it in both directions. So potentially smaller, and then also potentially bigger.
I like that. Okay, I like that. But we're not going to see this Sentinel at retail at all. This is totally exclusive to the backer project. There's going to be no way that anybody's going to be able to own this figure without backing this project, correct?
That's been the plan, yeah, and that's kind of how all the HasLab projects have run thus far, that we do not currently have plans to bring it out any other way. We were looking that there wouldn't be a blister card big enough to contain this guy to pull another like Comic-Con trick like the team did the smaller version back there. So yeah, I mean, just for those fans out there who, you know, might be kind of on the fence a little bit, you still got 40 days to make up your mind. But if you're ever interested in this Sentinel, I would strongly recommend that you go out and back this.
Are we going to see more
eBay prices, you know?
Right, yeah. On the secondary, this is going to be nuts. But are we going to see more updates in terms of just like showing off the figure more before the 24th, showing more of the articulation maybe, and, you know, just a closer look at some of the things that people will be getting?
It's a little tougher to do, you know, photo shoots and video shoots in this day and age when we're all working, you know, from home. So I don't know that we'll be able to necessarily, but I mean, if there's any particular type of things that come up, we can look to do that. We had hopes to be with everyone in San Diego to really let you get up close and personal with your own cameras and that, but it's just kind of time. And the model we're dealing with right now is not even an EP, right? It's a very early prototype, and we actually had to perform emergency hip surgery on the Sentinel right before our live
I could
stream.
imagine.
Our esteemed engineer had to go in and and literally put the hit back together because that joint had broken, and we didn't want Dwight waving around a one-legged Sentinel on Facebook with everyone. So, you know, there's challenges to that. So, you know, we're doing the best we can.
Other ideas that people wanted, again, not really a question, but we talked about Giant Man, Galactus, Celestials, Giganto, Frost Giants, as other possible HasLab projects. These are things that people were ringing off to me, basically, so I just wanted to let you guys know. Obviously, a Blackbird, we had talked about that last year when I sat down with you guys. Quinjet, a Cerebro, which I thought was actually a cool idea. Watu, the Watcher. And in the same vein, though, playsets. People were asking about playsets. That might be exclusive to HasLab too. Any idea, any hint on what that book was you showed Dwight at the end of the Fan Friday live stream?
Let's just say there's more cool X stuff coming in the coming weeks. July is a very big month celebrating our X-Men with our Sentinel and our 20th anniversary figures that were just released, or the first of them that were revealed yesterday, as well as maybe just some more stuff coming in the next, handful of days.
All right, sounds good. Looks like the Strong Guy wave is showing up at retail. I saw it at my local comic shop last week. Any idea when we're going to get Rain, when we're going to get Wolfsbane to round out that 90s team?
Well, it wasn't... her head was with the Walgreens exclusive, right?
It was, just the head.
So you can make a version. If you want a furrier version, you're not the first one to ask for that. So we're looking at if we can do a body that serves Feral, Wolfsbane, Hepzibah. So there's multiple, maybe Tigra. So there are, a handful of our furry feline friends that we would like to get into the line at some point in time. It's just when they're all new like that and they're so unique, it just takes a little bit more time to figure out where we can put them and what type of potential reuse there might be for those types of figures.
Got you. So you touched on the Powers of X, House of X wave that's going to be coming next year, I think you said. And obviously, that was based on a specific comic book story. What are some of you guys' like personal favorite stories that you might like to see come out in figure form? I know Jesse's baby was AOA, and I know that you and Ryan were really, really digging the House of X story. But what are some other things that you guys might be interested in? Just a personal favorite thing for each of you.
Yeah, I guess a personal favorite for me is I really love the Extinction Agenda.
Okay.
I would love to figure out how to do a Cameron Hodge. Cameron Hodge might be a great $100 HasLab, right? Something like that. So I would like to see something like that. I don't know. I'll let the other guys jump in, but I know that's one in particular that I would like to dive into a little bit more.
Dan, you go. What's your favorite comic storyline?
I mean, to be honest, AOA was my favorite comic storyline. I'm a big X-Men guy, so I would love to see new X-Men too. I was actually the one who brought the comic books to Ryan and Dwight. Just wanted to get that in there for House of X Powers of 10.
Nice. Okay. That's good to know.
Personal things outside of comics, I love the animated series. I love the Spider-Man animated series, love the Iron Man, the X-Men, obviously. So those are always factors that I like to look at too. And some of the new Gameverse stuff, like even from the old Spider-Man game, there's so many like suits that we didn't touch either that I personally like to do, So
yeah, it's possible that we're gonna see an X-Men retro wave, huh? So maybe that's where Morph will show up, right?
That'd be a good home for him. Yeah.
Any plans for any of the missing parts that we are looking for? Cannonball's legs, Sandman's arms, Lilandra's body, something like that. Any way to kind of give us that packed in with some other figure like you did with the Onslaught head or the...
Lilandra's body. Yeah, we'll put the legs in a blister. We'll ship you Cannonball's legs.
Why not?
Just
I saw a comment that the next tier for Sentinel should be Cannonball's legs.
That was one going around, which would make no sense, but we would still take it.
Moving forward, like box sets might be good places to do some of those extras where we, as opposed to like, do you really want to buy like Cannonball like again for $20 by himself?
Right.
There's a box set, a 2-pack, a 3-pack. Not saying that there will be, but these are the ideas that we're kicking around to think about how to bring those characters out with them.
All right, I know we're running down on time here. So, how have the sales of the fan channel exclusive figures gone? Is it good enough to maybe offer brand new figures instead of just redecos, and maybe even think bigger than that and do like a Legendary Rider type of thing for a fan channel exclusive? Is that possible, or how does that work with those figures?
Yeah, I mean, fan channel which encompasses a lot of retailers, right, including the Hasbro Pulse, which you're seeing more and more of, both from the product and marketing standpoint. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like a lot of the 2020 this year fan channel exclusives, we kind of developed a little bit late in the game. So some of them were repaints, some of them had some new pieces like the Toxin, which was revealed recently. But yeah, as the fan channel and Pulse in particular, we love the Pulse, continues to grow. I think we'll definitely be able to see some more new figures and hopefully fewer repaints. The third Troop Builder, which we announced is happening. So far we had Hydra and AIM, so the third Troop Builder is new and has some new pieces. So we're slowly moving in that direction.
I've seen a lot of people really interested in Hellfire Club Goon as that, so maybe that's what it'll be. I guess we'll find out next week. Two other things real quick. Walmart, a lot of people are upset with Walmart and how they're kind of putting stuff out. I already know that it's not on you guys once it goes to retail. It's pretty much on them to figure out what goes on at retail, but a lot of people are complaining about Walmart in particular, and that they can't find stuff, or orders never go through, or maybe employees are taking the stuff before they actually put it out. We don't know, but just a heads up for you guys. Quite a few people asked me to ask about that. And then just real quick, just a couple of things that people wanted, just to put it out there to you guys. Comic-based Falcon was up there, a lot of requests. The Marauders, like I said, Hellfire Club Goons as an army builder. The Nasty Boys to go along with Sinister. Classic Doc Strange. Future Foundation Spidey. Whiplash. Malekith. Didn't we already get a Malekith? The Chitauri, Dwight, you already talked about that. Starjammers, Dwight, you mentioned HesPA, so maybe you guys are already working on something like that. Vulcan, while you guys are in your X-Men bag, a lot of people are asking about Vulcan as well. So thanks, guys. I know I'm a little bit over time. So next week, though, we will see some SDCC reveals, basically.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Boog, just keep giving us more information about what the fans want. We love hearing your ideas and what we pay attention to the boards too. So we always appreciate community support, like for real. So thank you.
Yeah, man, you guys are doing an amazing job. I just want to thank you guys once again. You already know Marvel Legends is my personal favorite toy line of all time. It's been with you guys for 20 years, so keep doing your thing. We're going to keep showing out and purchasing the product and showing out in big numbers. Obviously, you guys saw that this past week. So, yeah, man, thank you guys. I appreciate the time, and I will talk to you guys, I guess, at Toy Field. We'll see if we'll actually be in person.
Sounds good, man.
All right.
I'll miss you next week. Have a good one.
All right, virtual hug, guys. I'll see you guys later.
All right, man.
Yeah, man.
All right, peace.